Today we're going to be working on this 7.3 Powerstroke here behind me. This thing's got a loss of power, not running right, driving really rough, got a top speed of 30-40 miles an hour. So we're going to have a look at a few things here I'm going to show you. We'll start off with a few things you want to check. You know, generally is starting off is just an air filter, fuel filter. I went ahead and pulled the fuel filter out of here. This fuel filter here was actually missing the O-ring that goes around inside this groove, and up here it actually had one seal, two seals up here, which is kind of odd to me. Didn't really like that. Went ahead and got this replaced, put that in there. Be sure to put all your O-rings in the right location. And then when doing this, I kind of like to go ahead and pull this out of the center, and this one here actually had this little green O-ring that was ripped apart, and I didn't find it anywhere in there, so I'm not really sure where that went, but I didn't see it in the fuel bowl anywhere. So I mean, hopefully that's not a problem along down the line somewhere. I don't see how it could be, because it wouldn't make it through that filter, I wouldn't imagine. Not really sure. And then this is the little fuel heater. I normally take these out of the bowl. It's just something else in the way. The plate that this is on, I usually install it, and then the sleeve that this is runs inside of, I always put it back because it sticks down through here. So don't want no problems out of that. We actually got us a new fuel pressure regulator here. This one comes with a new housing, new fuel spring. You want to ensure you're getting good fuel pressure with the new spring. So went ahead and picked that up. Here's an old housing, OEM one, just to give you a general idea of the difference between this housing and that one. Pick that up, and then to ensure that we're getting some good fuel pressure, I run these glow shift gauges. I've never really had any problems or complaints with them. Went ahead and picked this one up because this truck already had a hole drilled in the dash for, I believe it's 52 millimeter. So I went ahead and picked this up so we can get the process started on trying to figure out what's going on with the fuel pressure, because I'm thinking that's what we're dealing with here. You're going to need this fitting when installing the sensor for this. This goes in the fuel bowls, O-ring boss to 1/8 inch MPT, and then to make the process for this gauge a breeze, normally I run these little fuse length deals here, get some power pretty quickly. And then moving on from that, we've got these fittings here. These go in the head. These are a banjo bolt. These are aftermarket. They got the slots in them. And then aside from them, here we got some bunch of them here that I've taken out of other trucks in the past. This is what the OEM ones look like. They got these little round holes. You can drill these out. If you do, you better make sure that you get all of the metal shavings out of them, because you don't want any metal in your injectors. But that's kind of the difference between them there. These have the little round holes. These are slotted. You can modify these. Normally I just opt for go ahead and running these. And then also right next to where these are located, and I'll show you in a second, these fittings are in there. They've got this screen inside of them, and they've got a little check valve, little tiny snap ring on them. Tiny little hole, you can't even see it. I normally will replace these, or since these are steel and they're pretty good quality, I have drilled these out and kind of eliminated all that. But that can be, I mean, all the fuel going through that little screen and everything just seems kind of ridiculous to me. I have some aftermarket ones here just to give you an idea the difference. What that looks like. These are just kind of a light aluminum, so I kind of like to lean towards running something that's steel. A few other things we're going to check on this truck, but right down in here, of course, here's your fuel pressure regulator, and then right down in here this line right here, can't really see it, but one of the fittings is right there. And then the banjo bolt, you pretty much need to take this whole alternator bracket loose, take your belt off, pull this whole bracket forward to get down in there to get to that banjo bolt. And then the other one is going to be back in here on the back side of this head, is the main one that you want to get to. It's back that way. We're going to go ahead and pull all that apart, and we're going to be replacing it with either these drilled out or these, not sure yet, and I will be installing these banjo bolts. One other thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and pull the filters out of the tank. If there is some in there, we're going to have a look at that. And luckily we're working on a box truck, so I was able to get right up in here. But this is what you want to be looking for. We're going to go ahead and pull this apart. And inside here, there's going to be two little filters. They're inside of like a yellowish, whitish plastic container. You're going to want to just go ahead, and I normally just delete them filters. I don't replace them. I just take them out of there and get them out of there, because who wants to be inside here changing parts? Nobody. And this is a box truck, and I can kind of get to it relatively easy, but it's not that fun. So we can go ahead and pull this apart, get these two filters out of here, and have a look at them if they're in there. It wasn't that fun filming underneath the truck, so I just, you know, spared you the trouble of me dealing with all that and trying to show it. But I got it pulled apart. It had the filters in it that I was looking for. Here they are right here. I know you've probably never seen somebody in a collared shirt doing some work like this, but here's the filters inside of them. Really dirty in there. Golf shirt at that nonetheless. But here's the filters. We got them out. Extremely dirty. I normally just delete these things, take them clean out of the truck, do away with them, throw them right in the garbage. You don't need them no more. That's it. We're going to move on, keep getting the rest of this stuff. We're going to tackle these banjo bolts and these other fittings and what have you, and then we'll catch up here in a minute. Go back up here in the engine bay again. Just getting in here, and basically went ahead and got this whole, I got the belt off, got this whole mount loose. This is just kind of laying here. Pulled it back out of the way, and then right down in here, this will focus. The banjo bolt that you're looking for is right down in here on this head, way down in there. That's it down there. You want to pull it apart, pull that out if you're going to be changing these. And then another thing that I found pretty quick when I got this out of the way is this is that fitting right there with the little screen and check valve in it. And that's where, this is one of the lines that comes from right here on this side of the fuel bowl, wraps around through here, and it goes over here, and it feeds this head. And what I found was, check this out. This thing is extremely loose in here. Look at this. And that's kind of why I like to start with these things. I haven't owned this one very long, and I started having trouble out of it pretty much before I ever even started tackling this stuff. But normally when I get these trucks, I start addressing this stuff whether the truck's running rough or not, because this is why. Stuff like this, I mean, this obviously can't be good. This just being loose like that, I mean, maybe when it pressurizes, it pushes it back, and I mean, it's weird. It's not really leaking, but I mean, obviously that's not good. So I tackle these banjo bolts, I tackle these fittings, I tackle a few things, eliminate the filters that are inside the tank, you know, things like that, replace it, put another inline on the frame before the pump. And really, if I wasn't replacing these fittings, these check valves, and these banjo bolts, I mean, it possibly could have been a little while before I would have caught that. These trucks are pretty good other than this silly stuff like this. The only other issue you got to deal with is stuff like this, cam position sensors sometimes. Get that, I've had them balk and do all kinds of stuff because of these. Get that all straightened out, eliminate silly stuff like all this, replace this, take care of some of this stuff, and then of course get rid of these things. You'll have a decent truck. Alright, here's the ones that came out of the truck. You can see right here on this fitting, it says flow. It's directional, so it's the 1/8 inch in PT. It goes into the head, and the line hooks on this side. Little check valve in there. Like I said, there's our banjo bolt we took out. Went ahead and got the new banjo bolt down there, and went ahead and addressed this problem with this one. I ended up using one of these little aluminum ones than I had to keep me from having to drill these out. Put that there, just kind of be easy on it. It didn't got to be stupid tight or anything like that. And went ahead and put a new seal on that line. Got that tightened up. It ain't moving around anymore. Went ahead and put a new seal on this side of that line. So we're going to go ahead and tackle the banjo bolt and the fitting back here in the back, and then go from there. All right, installing the regulator now. Here's the springs, just to give you an idea on the length. All right, been working on getting the fuel pressure regulator installed. Got it all in there okay. And then back in here, been working on the banjo bolt and the little fitting. I ended up pulling the exhaust off back there because I can't get my big ass hands in there, so it gives me a little bit more room to work with. And then got our banjo bolt done already. And then working on our fitting, just got the fitting pulled. And then if you remember this piece of seal right here that we couldn't find, I guess it actually went through there all the way through the fuel bowl, because this is in the center, so it was able to fit through the hole, and it ended up here in this fitting with this little check valve in this screen. That's it right there. So gonna go ahead, eliminate that. We're gonna put our new one in there, and should be good to go. We're going to keep on going. All right, got this thing all put back together. Got our new fuel pressure regulator here installed. Got our banjo bolt installed back there. Banjo bolt up here installed. Got our new fuel fittings installed. One back there, one up here. Eliminated the check valves and the OEM ones by replacing them. The one back there, actually inside that check valve, had the piece of seal that actually came out of the piece inside the fuel bowl, so that's pretty good. Removed both them two little filters that are back there inside the tank. Got our inline fuel filter on the frame, and also got our new fuel pressure gauge installed in the truck. So we're going to go give this truck a run real quick and see if we got some good fuel pressure now. All right, we got us some fuel pressure now. Got about almost, this thing pushing 95 to 100. Honestly, too much fuel pressure. Kind of lay into it here a little bit. I can only seem to get it to drop to about 90. I mean, I might be able to really push and get it to 85, but the truck's running really good, running great. Definitely getting some fuel now, but probably too much. Probably gonna have to kind of back the spring off or do something with the spring, kind of tone it down a little bit. Here's the old girl here we was working on, 99, 7.3 Powerstroke. This is a F550, got 280 on the dash. Pretty nice, clean old truck. We just needed some fuel pressure. Fuel pressure was terrible. That's what we had going on. Truck's running really good now. So pretty happy with that. And basically get you a fuel pressure gauge on the truck, eliminate the filters in the tank. It's what I like to do. I like to eliminate the check valve fittings on each head. I like to swap out the banjo bolts, and I like to put a new fuel pressure regulator on it. I normally do that stuff right off the bat when I get one of these trucks, but this one was pretty much lacking starting with some fuel pressure before I ever even got to do it. So we needed some fuel pressure, and we actually got too much. So I'm about to pinch that spring down, kind of back it off, but it's holding really strong. Really happy with that. Hopefully I was able to point you in the right direction if you're having problems or fuel pressure problems in 7.3 Powerstroke, but I appreciate it. Catch me in the next one.